Hey, it's Shannon. This is DIY and Depression. Today I want to talk about transitions and how I really do not do well with transitions. So one of the many things that I've learned about myself is that moving from one established state to another completely sets me off. I mean, change is hard, but for those of us with anxiety, anxiety is basically our amygdala being overdeveloped and overactive and firing off at all sorts of inappropriate times, sometimes just constantly. One thing that usually helps folks with anxiety is routine, knowing what to expect, having a feeling of control. And by its nature, change completely upsets that. What I've figured out about it is it's not so much the change that I don't like, but it's the transition period. The moving from one to the other, where the old routine doesn't work anymore and the new routine has yet to be established. And if I can't see what that new routine looks like, then and that's pretty much been 2020 for everybody, right? There have been a lot of transitions lately, and they are by definition the kinds of transitions where I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. I have a vague idea, but a lot of it's kind of up in the air. So with my day job, things are going back to pretty close to normal, which means increased hours at work, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, more hours is more money, and being financially stable, or at least as close as I can manage, helps the anxiety for sure. But it also means less time to do the creative work that I've spent the last 2 months really focusing on so hard. My brain wants to create a narrative, or my anxiety wants to create a narrative about that and say, just as I was really starting and getting everything together, and now it's all being taken away. Which isn't true. But it is real that I'm having to refigure how I'm going to do all the things that I've been doing and come up with a completely new schedule that's a little less free-flowing and more structured. I don't know what that looks like yet. And so anxiety. Knowing that this is all due to choices that I have consciously made is kind of a two-edged sword for sure. On the one hand, there's the story, I did this to myself, which is a surefire recipe for depression, right? It's like, ooh, look, here's a stick I can beat myself with. On the other hand, if I did do this to myself, if it's because of choices that I made consciously, actively, that means I have a measure of control over it. That means I have agency. So that actually helps quiet the anxiety a little bit. It's like, oh, well, okay, I'm not a helpless victim here. There are things that I can do. I just have to figure out what those are. So that's pretty much where my work is right now. I know the things that I need to do to keep the process moving in the direction that I've already started it. There's a lot of fear in me about it because I have made it very important to me. I'm very attached to the idea of making a go of my creative work. But I will keep working on it. And it's starting to rain. So I hope everyone is staying well. Remember, coronavirus is still a thing. So keep washing your hands, wearing a mask in public, social distancing where you can. Be safe, be well, and I will talk to you next week.